How's it going?
It's good, man. I apologize in advance for any audio or video or quality issues we run into. I'm live from the car wash pump room. I have contractors arriving. They won't be arriving during the show, but I couldn't get here in time if I had done the show at home for when they're going to arrive. Today is spray foam day in the car wash conversion.
Spray foam day. Yeah.
Right. Oh, it's a big day. I needed the spray foam to get installed while it was still ungodly cold in Minnesota, so that I know what the insulation can handle or not. So
you were saying that last week.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at right now. And
hey, I mean, it's exciting. I'm glad that you're there. It's cool. We can see the place a little bit. I mean, looks like it's coming along a little bit, right?
Well, this is not the room that's going to get the spray foam. This is the guts. This is, if you ever wonder what makes a car, you want a little tour?
Yeah, let's see it.
All right. So it's really glamorous. This is it right there. It's like a ship's those are the pumps. Let's see. Those are the pumps. Somebody will come put their quarters in. If we hear when the pumps start, we'll know that there's a little business.
Okay.
Down here, that's where some soap gets and wax gets shot into your, when you choose your soap and your wax. That's the boiler that keeps it all warm. That's on my little shelf that I installed a camera so I could see what's going on with the boiler. Now I got that thing wrangled. There's a little water heater right there. Got to have a hot spray for your car. Security, I know what's going on at all times right here. This over here, I don't even know what this does, but I'm going to advertise it at one point. That's a reverse osmosis machine so that you get no spots on your car. And that right there is a tank of reverse osmosis water. I wonder if there's an advertising angle, Are your ball pythons living on reverse osmosis water? I don't know. I bet they are.
Oh, I thought you were talking about advertising the car wash as having reverse osmosis water. No?
No, we got to have, I like a little dollop of snobbery in my marketing campaigns.
It looks very manly. I don't know.
It's industrial. Yeah, you're gonna smell like
industrial. Yes.
You're gonna smell like some fumes, a little bit of oil. Like you could just run your finger over something and just walk through. Just be like, I have a little itch, and then then people are gonna be like, this dude, this is a man. He knows.
This is a man right here. I'm dealing with a man. Well, that's fun, man. I mean, you're coming along. It's going to be great. And then so it's a spray foam day, and it's going to be done today, right? It's not like a multi-day job, or no?
No, it's one day. And actually that was part of the deal. The dude was like, hey, I'm sorry. I look distracted, but I'm not, because I'm trying to get some pictures to share with everybody too.
Okay.
Yeah. So the guy said, hey, basically it's a job that he wants, but it's not a big enough job to cause him
okay. That's right.
to be eager about it. So he's like, hey, when this department store, I got this department store, I got this big house, I got your little one room. So anyway, he calls me. He's like, hey, these other people failed inspection. I can get in there on Thursday for you, but we got to get it done that day. And I'm like,
yeah.
All right, I'll do my show from there. I don't care what time. It's 6:30 and I've already driven to another town. I've been at it this morning. We're good,
How do you do it, Adam? I don't know. I mean, the drive of having your own business and working for your own business, that's how you do it, really. This is yours. It's going to make or break because of the work that you put into it. And so if that work takes you getting up at 5:30 in the morning, driving to another town, doing a show, a podcast in the freezing cold, industrial looking what do you?
Oh, this is the boiler room, right there,
The boiler room. I mean, that's what you're gonna do. That's what drives you. That's what it's gonna go. It's gonna be. That's like when people think about, oh my gosh, I want to start a new business, and then they go, well, like people go, oh yeah, it takes a lot of work. Well, it does take a lot of work, but you are driven to do that work. It's not like you're working for somebody else. You know, it's not like you have to summon the energy to work for someone else for their benefit. You are, it's going to make or break because of the drive that you have. And that's what's going to, so it's a lot of it doesn't feel like work, does it?
It depends what time of day you ask me that question. There are days, there are days where it's everything you're talking about. And then not last night, but the night before, I discovered my boiler went out again at about 11 at night on a brew. So, but here's the thing. I am learning. Like every day I'm learning more. I'm understanding more. I'm figuring out more of why things are happening, what's going on. And I'm meeting great people. I met a great HVAC guy yesterday. I'm not going to go, maybe actually there's probably a story in this, like a whole show story. But anyway, essentially I was calling him to find out information on a project that was going to be about $2,500 that I think the inspector wants to make me have. And that contractor, who's very well respected, said, you don't need that. Give me that inspector's contact information. I'll call and tell him that's ridiculous to make you do that. And I'm like, this guy just turned down a $2,500 job to do the right thing. And then I said, well, hey, I want to pay you for your time, but I got this boiler that keeps kicking on and off. And he's like, and I thought it was the wind like causing a backflow. Turns out both my intake and my exhaust point down. They do these gooseneck things on the roof down. Mm-hmm. Well, the intake is supposed to point up so that the intake isn't sucking in the exhaust. It's just sucking its own exhaust in there. It needs fresh oxygen to boil. That's why it's backing up every now and again. So, like, it's just good people.
So, did you get it fixed?
No, that was yesterday afternoon. I discovered that. He's going to come out. I mean, the thing is, it's one of those intermittent things. If the wind blows a different way, it doesn't suck in its own exhaust. Sometimes it sucks in a little bit of exhaust, so it's not firing quite as well as it could versus fresh oxygen. So it's going to get more efficient. It's going to get more better, Joe. That's what's going to happen.
You're going to get more better.
More better, baby. Good. How's your week been, man?
Yeah, it's been great. Really good. Really busy at work. Crazy stuff. And, teaching 3 classes. That's really busy. But, it's the grad school that's sucking my, well, it's not sucking my time because I really like the time that I'm spending doing it. And I'm getting nervous that I should have done this a long time ago. That's what I'm thinking.
You're nervous you're going to fall in love, right?
I know. I think I already am. I mean, I love getting in there and chopping it up about stuff. So it's been great. I think my one thing though, it pales in comparison to what you're dealing with. Because it's kind of a universal thing and it's something that's happening. And I think my brain, because of being so busy, has accelerated. Like I'm not as
you work it out, right? You get it's almost like cardio for your brain. Like once you're rolling, you're like really.
So I feel like I need all parts of my brain to be active and moving and engaged to handle all the stuff that's going on. I don't like when people say, "Oh, I'm really, really busy." Everybody's busy. I think I've said this before. Like everybody's busy.
You made note before, yeah.
Oh yeah. I think it was one of my pet peeves or one of the things that
you aired a little grievances about.
Yeah, grievances.
It pops up from time to time. Yes.
So, but let me digress for a second and go. Yes, when I'm busy, my brain just kind of accelerates. So I need all parts of my brain, except I'm having a problem this week because, and I want to know if people can chime in on this because I need advice on how to deal with it. I have had a song stuck in my head for 5 days.
Don't tell us.
And
We don't want it stuck in our head. Don't tell us what song.
it's the, and it's not a good, like, it's an okay song. It's a classic song. I heard it 5 days ago, and I don't even know. I know like one part of it, and it's just over and over and over and over again.
Right.
And I'm like, I got to get it out of there somehow. How do you do this? How do you, when you have that problem, how do you do it? How do you get rid of it?
You got to listen to another crappy song. You got to replace it. You got to bump it out.
Yeah, but isn't that just replacing one problem with another?
Yeah, but maybe it won't be quite as good and quite as hooky, and it'll wear off faster. It's like
so you're saying find a catchy song that is not as good.
Right.
Okay.
So if you got like if you got All I Want for Christmas stuck in my head, you got to listen to like 99 Red Balloons next. Like it's right there, but it's just a little bit under. And then you're gonna do that. It's in a commercial right now. What is that dumb? This is my fight song, Take Back My Life song. I don't even.
Yeah. Okay.
It gets in my head, and now it's on a commercial that they're playing, and I'm sure it's for a good cause or what. I'm sure it's some inspirational thing. But man, that'll make you not want to participate in the giving a damn.
How about this? Your project. You have to stuck in your head and onto another person, then forget about it when laughing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's good. That's good.
Hum it incessantly through the office, right behind Chelsea. Just follow her around, humming it a little bit.
I don't think this song is particularly catchy either. And part of the song that's stuck in my head is like an instrumental part. So I'm known in my house as well to replace words of songs with just gibberish because I don't know the words or I don't. So right. Like my kids always make fun of me for like, just humming and making up gibberish sounds to songs that you can obviously sing. So like even instrumental parts of songs get stuck in my head, and I'll just like I'll sing them, or I can't get. So even like it's a good strategy. I know to get rid of, to pass it along to somebody else. That seems like fun, but I don't think it's the people around me are going to just do the instrumental part. They're not going to catch on to the instrumental.
They're not going to know what's going on. They're going to be like, that's a nice melody. I enjoy that, Joe.
Strange. That's strange. And I don't even get what you're doing. And I'm not musically inclined as some other people in my house. So I don't know if I'll hit the notes right to make it catchy. So that's another issue.
That's
true. Any other suggestions from the folks that are listening in? I'm all for it. Let me know.
Yeah, I tend to forget. Chelsea's not only talented; she's a bit of an accomplished musician. She's got teach and she's got great singer. We auditioned. She got the part. I moved to Jacksonville, but we auditioned for the official school band, like the show band. It's called, I think it was called Sound System, is what I think.
Oh yeah. I've heard about Sound System. Now that was 25 years ago, but I've heard all about.
Yeah,
it was a very seminal moment for her.
I never got in. Like I say, I did the audition. We auditioned at the same time, actually. And then my dad and I moved to Jacksonville after that. So who knows? I like to say that I crushed it and, just would have been the lead guitarist. Who knows?
She's great. Actually, there was this time, it was the first time she met my dad, and we went to like a karaoke thing. I don't know why my dad had used to get into stuff like, oh yeah, have you heard about karaoke? And meanwhile, it's been out for 40 years or whatever. Right. There's this great karaoke place. I don't know. So he'd say that. And then
you try it with the Japanese inflection, like the really honorable.
No, I just don't think he knew how to say it. So he would go. We went to this karaoke place, and I snuck in a song from Les Mis, and I put Chelsea's name on it. and she got up and sang it.
Oh,
And she blew everybody away. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So much so, and my dad's not like my dad was not a very overtly he wasn't like affectionate, like he was a very loving guy, but he wasn't like, oh, I don't know, whatever. He got up out of his chair, she walked over, and he gave her like this big hug, like he was so impressed by it. And I was like, all right, Chelsea.
He's like, you crushed
Chelsea's
it.
in. I know, right? So anyway, any other suggestions? I'm up for it. Let's see. Embrace it. Overdo it so much you make yourself sick on it. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll tell you the song. I don't know if anybody's really gonna recognize it. It's "Why Do Fools Fall in Love?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Frankie Lyman. Yeah, Frankie Lyman. Why do birds sing so gay? Oh man. Ah.
Yeah. Okay.
Why do they fall in love?
Yeah.
Why does the rain fall from up above? Why do fools fall in love? Why do they fall in love?
I feel like the days of like really emphasizing the syllables in a song when they're like like that's like a lost art. You don't hear that much anymore, right?
So remind me next week. I'm going to check in with the people on the chat and with you to see if any of that got stuck in your head. And then the instrumental part is this great sax solo.
Okay,
it's fantastic.
All right.
How about you? Okay, so we heard a little bit about your week. Is there that one thing that happened to you this week that you're thinking about a lot?
Well, I have like two like little things, more like just like get them out there, get them off my chest, and then my main thing that could just lead right into our topic today.
Okay.
So I'll tell you two, and then we'll talk about some of our friends of the show real quick too. Aren't there laws about damn headlights? The brightness? Like I'm driving in the dark. I'm on a 2-lane country road. It's the only road to the interstate. So all the normal people that gotta commute up to the cities, it's a 60 mile an hour speed limit. So they're doing like 70. 2-lane. Head on, head by head stuff. And it's like a new art to see just how blinding your freaking headlights can be. I don't want to swerve into a cornfield or a cow. Like it's too much, man. Like anyway.
And it's not their brights. They don't have their brights on. It's just
it's these new like purple tinged blind you thing, like lasers. You don't need that. Like it's not safe. Like these people are going to die because somebody's going to crash into them, because they can't see. You don't know what's where. So that's a frustration this morning. I had another one, and now I've forgotten.
Wait, do you think so? And you're positive that it's the change overall in the headlights on cars?
No, these are factory. These are like,
and it's not your vision that is getting older.
No. These are you could see halfway to Mars. Like you could put remember at concerts, it was a big thing. Like you could put a little laser pointer and they would like throw you out. That's what people on Mars are having done to them with these headlights, man. These things, they're like these aftermarket things. I'm sure that it's just like a hobby. Like, hey, I'm going to paint my truck bright green, put a set of plastic testicles on the back of it and blind people with these
It's aftermarket. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Understood. Yeah. So I'm a little more yes, I understand what you're saying. And when I'm driving around here, yes, but I also think that my night vision, my vision at night is going bad. And I hate to admit it because it's such an old person thing,
right.
But I do think that my vision at night is not as good as it once was.
I think it's pretty good. I just don't think we need to see, like, we're not blinding deer here to shoot. Like you got to stay in between two lanes. That's it. And everybody needs equal opportunity to be able to see where those lanes are. So
yeah, equal opportunity headlights. Come on.
Just give me a fighting chance to know where the hell I'm going in my 2,000-pound hunk of metal that's powered by internal combustion. Literally a hunk of metal with flames inside of it being propelled at a mass that we can't really, at a velocity that we can't really understand, man. Like,
what? Why is it the funniest thing to hear one of your friends just be really, really, who is not usually pissed off at stuff, just be really pissed off at something?
Yeah,
it's one of the funniest things to me is to hear people.
You people from Philadelphia like doing this to me. I have a good buddy. His name is Brian. He's from Philadelphia, and he thinks that me pissed off is the most fun thing in the world. And he'll just needle at me with stupid crap. Okay. On a brighter note, my other one thing, if somebody's doing something good that you appreciate, just take the time to tell them. I don't know who needs to hear it, but I had a great guest this week, Tuesday night. Jeremy Bod and Jeannie Bod were on the show, Bod's Exotic Reptiles. And I met Jeremy because I'd never met him before. He saw my show one time. And the first time he saw it happened to be when somebody had canceled on me and I wasn't able to rebook anybody. So I did my very first solo show by myself. I just moved to Florida. I had quit my job. It was a really uncertain time. And then these people canceled on me. And I had to do a solo show, and I was very insecure and not happy and all of this. And out of the blue, he messages me. He goes, I don't listen to anybody talk for more than a minute or two. He goes, I just listened to your whole show 60 minutes by yourself. And he goes, and it was good. Keep doing what you're doing. And I was like, anyway, that's how I met that guy.
It's really nice. Yeah.
That was a few years back, and we've become really good friends. And he sort of became certainly a resource, if not a mentor to me. And it just recalled that. And you never know what somebody's going through. So if they're putting the effort into something and doing something worthwhile or that hits you or that you appreciate, take the time to tell them, man. You never know. It could change their course of direction, you know?
This
is the spray foam guy. I got to hit mute for a second. I'm really sorry.
Yeah,
take it away, Joe.
Oh my gosh. What am I gonna do? I don't know what to do. No. So I guess we'll talk on the chat here for a second, because I had a similar situation. Somebody reached out to me. Actually, it was my brother, just out of the blue this past week, and said, hey, I was just thinking about you on my morning walk. I guess he takes his dog for a walk. And he said, I was just thinking about you. You just seem to be pulled in so many different directions, and you're just always, trying to make, the people in your life as happy as possible. And you just have such a great attitude, just out of the blue. Like I just saw him. So maybe, he was thinking about seeing me or whatever, but I guess it was his meditative moment that he was thinking about me. And man, Adam's right. Does that make a difference? That makes a huge, huge difference. I think it comes from my mom too. Like my mom was always kind of like, I want to just make some random person feel good every single day. So wherever I am, I'm going to try and say to somebody like, oh, I like your hair, or, oh, those shoes are really pretty, or whatever, the way that she does it. And when you're out with her, when I'm out with her, she does those things. And it's kind of like at first it's kind of embarrassing, but then you kind of see the response that people have. And man, does it brighten their day. Just that little comment, like, hey, I love what you've done with your nails or whatever. Now it's a little difficult for a large 6'3", 265-pound male to go up and say, I like what you've done with your hair. So I have to be a little bit more.
Yeah, you don't want to be creepy here. You got to be caring, genuine, but not creepy.
But finding that little thing. I mean, this is what I was saying, Adam. My mom, I got something from my brother just out of the blue, just saying, "Hey, I really appreciate you," type of thing. And my mom has this thing where she's like, every single day, I'm going to compliment somebody
Yeah, there you go.
that I just come into contact with, and it is kind of strange because I mean I think I don't know if that happens too much. It is kind of strange when you're with her, but the response is like, "Oh, thank you so much." Like it like brightens people's day. Just that little thing, just to say it, and it's so easy to do.
Well, we're all going through the muck. Like we all think that like we have it the worst, but everybody has it just as worse. Like we're all like dealing with just total crap in our lives, you know? So, yeah, just put it out there. Just try it, guys. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing. But you know, that was my thought. Joe, if you were to own some ball pythons and you were to buy some frozen rodents, who would you buy them from?
Well, I'd listen to my good buddy Adam, who is ushering me into this community and industry, and I'd go Cold Blooded Cafe all the way.
That's the right answer. You should.
That's the right answer.
I definitely use.
I've heard the aroma is very fresh
when you open the bag. I'm telling you, it sounds
frozen
gross.
rats.
Buy the competition, buy theirs, open the bag side by side. You're going to smell the freshness and the difference. Your snakes are too. Those of y'all that haven't, excuse me, those of y'all that have used Proper 11, the promo code before, they reset it for you. You could use it again. They want you to come check it out again. So that's from the team at Cold Blooded Cafe. You do have to log in with your email to use the promo code, but go ahead and do that, and you're going to save yourself 11% on. There's no cap on that. It's one order, but you can order as many as you want for that. So go give Cold Blooded Cafe a try. I think you'd be very pleased that you do. Also, Husbandry.pro is how I track everything. Normally today, I would be commenting on the strong aroma of future snakes in the air in the snake room. Wednesday is pairing day, and this particular pairing day, Joe, there's a thing called using the rhythm of the room. So you get a bunch of their pheromones going, and they all get excited, and they all kind of do the thing really well.
Really, it's called rhythm of the room.
Yeah, you use the rhythm of the room. So
that's a wait. That is a industry the phrase "rhythm of the room."
I learned it from another person in the industry. Yes. Now, whether it's widespread or not, I have no idea. The audience can chime in on that. Yeah, there's a guy. His name is Paul. He's a British guy. He did the show a couple times a while back, and that's his thing. So, I try and pair as many as I can on one day, but one male will go to several females, so you can't do that on the same day. But the ones that are one-to-one,
too shabby.
Not a bad life, right? Little smoking jackets, all the stuff, But anyway, I track all that using Husbandry.pro. I can't keep track of. I think I have 18 18 pairings done right now. And that's how I track it using Husbandry.pro. You could go and use the promo code PRoyals60 to get yourself 60 free days on that. You don't even have to put in a credit card. Just sign up, give me your email, and you're going to get cracking on that right away. I do want to take a moment before they run off. I think the Harbins have to run. There is in every show description, there's a link to a scholarship fund that people could contribute to for Dr. Tom Harbin, carry on his legacy for reptile veterinary studies at the University of Auburn. This is a endowed scholarship, and it's a great way to recognize the legacy of Dr. Tom Harbin and everything that he did for our industry. And that's always in the description, and I think it should always be something that we consider if you're looking for a cause or a way to help. It's professionally managed so that, this will last and endure, hopefully forever, is the way that it's set up. So Reagan Renee at that's Charlie Ryan. I don't have my notes right in front of me, but Krypton, DG, Zebra, puzzle project stuff. Go check out what Charlie's got going on. Always got high quality snakes. The winner of the Snakes and the Fat Man lame, 15 minutes of lame competition. I personally think he might be the lamest winner ever. The lamest of the lame. Could be the best ever. So go check out Charlie Ryan, amazing snake breeder, incredibly.
He also stepped in when Adam couldn't make it one week to this show, and thank goodness, because we saw a little bit of what I could do on my own earlier in the show. And really, you didn't want that. You don't want that to happen.
Well, I didn't give you any heads up. Had you had a chance to prep, you would have felt better. I did.
Oh, of course, preparation is a huge part of this show. Yeah.
So right, yeah, we're known for our show prep. That's really what we dive in on.
I do love this. I do love this because it is just getting in touch with each other. And getting in touch with the group that comes on Thursday mornings, and I just think it's so easy. Yes, we do prep a little bit, but I just think it's so easy, and I think it's just a great way to start your mornings. Just connect with somebody. It's great.
Get the brain, get the synapses going.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And truly, for the audience, we do a little bit of show prep, but we also
do. Yes.
So we have like we get this theme or this idea, but then we also cut it off so that, because it doesn't do any good to dig into it ahead of time, because then we're just reciting crap to each other, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay. Here's the thing, Joe. I love, I wouldn't say I love it. When I'm traveling, I'm so tired of like the classic rock station or my old Stone CDs. I don't use CDs, but you know what I'm saying? The album playing over and over. And I find myself getting distracted when I'm driving or lolling off or bored out of my mind. So I listen to a lot of sports talk radio, specifically ESPN on Sirius XM.
Wait a second. Did you talk about creative genetics? Did I miss that?
No, I didn't. Keith and I, we did a clown axanthic project this year. There are some of those babies, and actually one of the females just ovulated. So there's one more batch of those coming. Ovulation, baby. Keith is working on genes like Stranger, working that into hypo, clown, axanthic, and pied projects. He's got, I know he's got some super gravel clowns that he just hatched as well. So check out Creative Genetics. That's Keith out in California, Fresno area, and he is on Morph Market as well. So you can check him out. So there's this guy, what I've really come to enjoy, and I don't gamble, I don't wager on sports whatsoever. And I never have. It's just never been exciting to me. I have wagered on WWE matches before, but never. Yeah, it's just a dollar, but yeah, it's fun. Anyway,
with your friends.
Yeah, like we'll watch like WrestleMania, and we'll be like, all right, who you got this match for $1, you know, kind of thing. So,
but there's so many different. Okay, I'm sorry.
I know that's a rabbit hole.
Ways, and a match could end disqualification, count out. You know that. Yeah, and is a win. What is really a win? Is if there's somebody comes in with a chair. And it should be a disqualification, but still pins the guy. Okay, it's a whole thing. But go ahead. Sorry.
The official record, yeah. But we're betting on the creative outcome. Now, if they do the double count out, then it's a push, and that rolls to the next. But I digress.
The official record.
That's right.
What's on the record?
Yeah, of the scripted match. But one thing I love about listening to it in this day and age, sports wagering is very, very common. It's become legal. It's new. The NFL is partnering with sports wagering. All this. There's a guy on ESPN and specifically on the ESPN talk radio. His name is Joe Fortenbaugh. And if anybody hasn't heard him analyze things, you should go check him out. He's a professional gambler, Vegas guy. And now he works in media. He still gambles a lot, but his dispassionate analysis of opportunity and risk and how to wager and handicap opportunity versus risk is an incredible study in that sort of analysis. And I love listening to his analysis because it doesn't matter on who he roots for. It doesn't matter what he likes or he dislikes. It matters on what different forces are affecting different outcomes.
Okay.
And I find that very valuable when I'm analyzing my business or I'm analyzing business decisions, or that phone call that I just had to take was a guy telling me that his guys got COVID and they're not coming to spray today. And we don't know when the next spray will be. Yes, it pissed me off. I can't change it. There's other opportunity. Fine. I get to do the show from the guts of the thing, and I'm going to drive my butt home and take a nap later today, which really actually makes me happier because I'm so tired. So that's fine. Okay. We'll get through it. The dispassionate analysis of a situation. So I'm listening to Joe Fortenbaugh, and Fortenbaugh comes on, and he's got these great hot takes. He's like the unicorn of genius and charisma. Like, I just want to be like that when I grow up. And he comes out and he says, this weekend was the greatest example ever in professional football of avoiding stupidity is greater than trying to discover brilliance. And I said, that applies to the ball python world, to reptile business, all of that. So let me fire a couple things off at you, Joe, and let me give a disclaimer. I do not claim to be a great sports analyst. I don't understand the intricacies of a game. I like watching magic to be thrilled by the illusion, not to understand how it's done. Same with sports. I just take it in. I don't need to,
Right. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
So very surface level analysis for the point of making this point. Every team that won this weekend, for those of y'all that don't know, it's the divisional playoffs where you are playing this past weekend to get down to the final four sports teams in NFL football. Every team that won, all four of them, were outgained, what I would say significantly, but whether significant or not, they were outgained by the other offense, yet they won.
Okay.
However, also, all four teams that won did not turn the ball over, not once. They had no turnovers.
Okay.
They stuck with what they did. If you look at each one of them, the teams that lost were playing to the teams that won and trying to adapt and do something different and innovate and change the world, where the teams that won just avoided stupidity, did what they did it well without much flash, got the job done, and off they go.
Okay.
And I think that's a good lesson because I see so many people in our world, they want to change the world. We're going to do something that's never been done before. And they burn out and they flame out and you don't hear from them anymore versus, well, you build a great foundation, do things right, do all the little things right, figure out what you're really good at, and then go run the competition over. Because then that'll fund being able to do all that other crazy stuff on down the line. So I thought it was a great idea, and it's a theme that's come up in my career and my experience. There was a guy, his name was Mr. Williams, a pretty common name, so I don't even think I'm calling out a specific. In my mind, I know who the specific Mr. Williams is. I won't say his first name. But he was a member, and I actually became friendly, not friends with them, but Mr. and Mrs. Williams. And he says, what do you, we just talk about just table side chatter when I'm waiting on the people, and they get to know me, I get to know them. I said to him, I said, you know what, what's the one thing you've learned in business? This guy's a multimillionaire kind of deal. I said, what would you learn in business? What's your secret? What's your thing? And he looked at me, he goes, just don't lose big. He goes, you can lose little a lot. He goes, you can only lose big once. He goes, don't lose big. Don't lose something insurmountable. As long as you can live another day and do what you do well, you're going to figure it out. If you lose big and you can't come back, you're done.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think there's all different types of approaches, right?
Yeah, there is.
I mean, so it reminds me of like, I'm I mean, in like sports talk, it kind of reminds me of like, oh, stick to fundamentals, or if we lost, we forgot fundamentals, or
Right.
whatever, like that kind of thing. And I like that idea of building a base before you're going for before you start taking risks. But then we've also had conversations where it's like, at some point, there has to be some risk taking. There has to be some, and measured, but a certain amount of risk taking too. So I'm there's a little, and maybe I'm misunderstanding, but there's a little bit of, I understand what the premise is. I understand what the ideas are, but there's this other side of it, like, and especially if we just talk about those football games, there were some chances that were taken, and especially in the two games that I saw, it's kind of like there were some stupid, like, especially as an Eagles fan, I'm never comfortable as an Eagles fan. They're always going to mess up at a certain point and throw the whole thing away. And so, like, there were times when I was like, why? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? You're not sticking to what you should do. What everybody, as an observer, as somebody who hasn't played football, who is a spectator, professional football, who is a spectator, can go, you should have thrown that ball away before they tackled you in the end zone. Like that kind of, like, where are the fundamentals there? Anyway,
sure.
There are those, yeah.
It's imperfect, and it's a discussion point versus this isn't a sermon. This isn't me going, this is the only way. This is the way that's the light. It's it's an idea to think of, but we get excited because we're passionate and we want to do all these amazing things, and we overlook the very, very basics. And I see it all the time. And Joe, the audience is going to know what I'm talking about, and you might as well. But when you go to a show and somebody either looks or smells or both like they haven't showered, why in the world would you buy a snake from them? They're not doing the fundamentals right.
The fundamentals.
The fundamentals. Why you don't have to have you don't have to have a $2,000 backdrop, but you also, it doesn't cost you anything to not have Oreo crumbs and ranch dressing drops on your table. And those are extremes. But there's a lot of things in the middle. I was chatting with somebody last night in one of the Patreon groups, and he said, "Oh, that reminds me, I need to iron my tablecloths before I go to the show this coming weekend." It doesn't cost you anything. I mean, I guess it costs you a little bit to fire up your iron or whatever. But those sorts of details, you're going to stand out. He's going to look put together versus the next person over. And those little things that you can do, and you can do very well. Yeah, showering ideally is fundamental. But those little things that you can do over and over, and you can do well, that feel almost intangible or insignificant, you do them, and you do them over and over really, really, really well. And there's kind of a hot topic, like a catchphrase these days that stirs the community when people say stay in your lane. I'm not saying to anybody do or don't do anything. You want to start a podcast? Start a podcast. Give it a shot. See what you got. You want to breed ball pythons? Do it. Check it out. See what you got. When I think of staying in your lane, I'm saying, if you know that you're good at something, you want to accentuate that and run the competition over, and then take your little risks slightly, or broaden your lane or widen your lane, if we're going to keep using that.
Right. Yeah.
How about I got some, maybe this will back me up a little bit. In 1985, Coca-Cola decided they needed to change, and they introduced New Coke. Everybody hated it. Within a year, they'd gone back to Coca-Cola Classic. That's when they that's when they inserted the word classic, because that told the customers, hey, screw New Coke. We've gone back to doing what we do. There was a day when Levi Strauss, the jeans company, decided they would get into the world of suits. Nobody remembers that because it was total garbage, and they had to throw it away. Colgate toothpaste makers in the 80s decided they were going to get into the frozen dinner game. Could you imagine buying like Colgate frozen turkey? Now, not what they were good at. Harley Davidson perfume, not the greatest idea. And then we might remember from our formative years in middle school, the flop that was Crystal Pepsi.
Yes. Yeah.
Throw that baby right out with the bathwater, right?
Now, what's interesting about all those things is that they could take those risks because they had an already established, they had already done the pinwheel, worked the one thing to get, and they had amassed a fortune for their businesses, right? Yeah. So then they were in a position to go, well, let's try and differentiate ourselves. There's a lot of companies that do that, but I see like the point of this like what I get from those examples is exactly what you're talking about, is that they perfected how to do their thing before and then they started taking risks. Yeah. They understood how to behave. All of those companies understood how to behave in this world. And then they started to take these crazy risks. I remember enjoying, what is it? Crystal
Pepsi? Were you like,
yeah, I thought it was cool. Sprite. I thought it was like, wow, this is clear.
Man, they had billboards. Van Halen, they bought the Van Halen.
Yes,
right now, yeah, the little
right now
the piano.
There's
thing.
no tomorrow. You have to have Crystal Pepsi.
There's no right tomorrow. Now. That's
you
right.
You gotta have it right now.
Right now, and lots of people did, and they were like, "I don't have to have it ever again."
I don't have it ever again. But that is those are established companies that tried something that was the risk. So I would say, yeah, if you don't have, you've got to perfect you've got to keep working that pinwheel. You got to keep working that one thing. You got to find the thing that first of all, you have to learn how to do everything in right. your industry, right? You got to go, okay, you got to learn, this is how people have always done it. And then maybe you find your differentiator after that. You go, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Then you find your brilliance. Avoid stupidity first, then discover your brilliance. But you got to master that first part of it. You've got to master that first part of it. Yeah, denim suit. Yeah. Levi Strauss's denim suit. Oh man.
I don't know why they all said no when I asked them to the homecoming dance over and over. The suit that I was going to wear that day with my Harley Davidson perfume.
So mastering the fundamentals first, taking showers and making sure that your place is clean. And then going and finding that genetic match or the new looking what do you call it, pairings,
the genes,
the genes, yeah.
And I'm again, it's an imperfect discussion because we all should be, I do think we should all be working at something that is special to us, that maybe hasn't existed before, that could be our identity. But there's lots of ways to make it, and if you don't figure out how to make it in the first place, you're not going to get to that other stuff, is my thought. That's always been my thought. And as everybody knows, there are, even in the audience, many of us have tackled this many, many different ways, many different financial ways, to be really clear. And we're all still here. So that's cool too. I like that. But when I heard, again, Joe Fortenbaugh's the guy's name's fantastic. He says, avoiding stupidity is far better than discovering brilliance this weekend, and this proved it. And, as spectators, we want all these fireworks, we want these trick plays, we want these crazy things, but that stuff ran out. It ran out for the Detroit Lions this weekend. And even to get a little bit nerdy, the Ravens even changed for the second half of their season. They started a little iffy, then they really hit their stride. Well, one of the things that really changed when they hit their stride was they were using a 2 tight end formation. Are you going to throw it to one of the two tight ends? Are they going to block for one of the two guys that can run, Derrick Henry or Lamar Jackson? They didn't do a two tight end formation until into the second half when they were losing, Joe. And what happened? They came all the way back, and then they lost on the very last play. Half of the season, you're running two tight ends the whole way. You don't do it until the second half of the game when you're in the gutter and it's already too far. So I think there's we always hear of this expression, the 80-20 rule. I think it's good to, how about stick with 80% proven, maybe experiment 20 or less. I like a little less experimentation myself. But, that mindset doesn't have to be perfect math equation, but that mindset I think is pretty valuable.
It's a hard thing to do. I think it's a hard thing to stick to the thing that works.
It takes patience.
Yeah, you have to have patience, and you have to have determination, and you have to go, okay, maybe this isn't really working right now. So I think that's the draw of trying something off the wall, or finding or discovering the brilliance is, I'm not quite where I am, where I want to be. So why don't I try this other thing, and that'll get me there quicker, or that'll get me to where I really want to be. And so it's difficult to where is the threshold of going, well, if this doesn't seem to be really what I want to have happening right now. Right. But do I go a little further with what I'm doing because I need to perfect it more, or do I need to go in a completely different direction? I think that's a really, really hard question to answer.
We have the expression, we call things the grind. We all hear it. We're doing the grind. We're grinding. We're grinding through. I think the grind is it. That's what you do. You grind because it's 80% of it feels boring. It feels like you're not changing. It feels like you're not moving. The grind is the mortgage. The grind is the grocery bill. The grind is the electric bill. The innovation is the other stuff that comes after all that. Hopefully the grind is a little bit of savings and a little future, pay yourself back kind of thing. So
yes. So do you think, however, that the grind is becoming an old-fashioned idea, especially to you have an impressionable person in your house who's growing up, and they're
Kelly's doing great these days. I mean, you should see Kelly's blossoming like you wouldn't believe, man. It's fantastic.
There's this idea that I do it too. I look at people who are have a lot more money than me. They're very successful, and it feels like they caught lightning in a bottle, because I look at them and I go, did they grind as much as I did? Did I not grind enough? And I go, maybe there is some kind of magic moment where I do something, or I discover this brilliance, and it really, really pays off. And that's an alluring possibility. Every once in a while, I do go and I buy a scratch off, that kind of thing.
You don't build your business on it. You're not you know what?
Right. Yes.
Through this whole tax thing, I'm going to the
right.
K, and I'm laying it all on the line. Right.
Understood. Yes, that makes sense. Yes.
Could you imagine that? How fun would it be to just go that absolutely insane and just?
But I wonder. Yeah, and I go. I think when I talk about so I have 2 stepkids, and I think there is in them some kind of idea of grind in certain respects, but I also think that in their face is this, in their faces all the time is those folks who, and maybe I'm taking that away from the people who are famous and rich and famous. Maybe they did grind for a long time, but it just appears to me so often I look at people who are successful in our society and I go, how did you get there? How did you get there? And did you really work hard at that, or is there some kind of was there some kind of maze that you worked yourself through to get to that point that maybe I got stuck at certain walls in that maze or something?
Yeah.
I don't know, you know?
I think it's a good exercise in some ways to definitely study people that you respect and look up to. I also think it's, for me, not for anybody else, but for me, it's totally worthless to compare myself to what somebody else has done. I have no idea their resources. I have no idea support. I have no idea anything that led to that. And I could get to know them, but I'm probably not going to get to know Billy Joel tomorrow. I assume he worked hard at that. I don't know. I'm never gonna have that question answered.
That's not quite who I'm talking about, actually. It's not quite who I'm talking about. You know,
but I do get it. So like, let's take somebody that I probably, I wouldn't say I detest just because I don't care enough to detest him, but a Logan Paul type character. This guy is richer than God. I don't know actually what he does or what he did. But actually, he's been a great example for me. And everything in life comes back to either Seinfeld or pro wrestling. So this guy gets signed to a pro wrestling contract. And I'm like, he's going to be absolute garbage. They signed this guy because they want his money. They want his Prime beverage logo and brand alignment and contract. I have to hand it to him. He's phenomenal in the ring. I don't want that guy to be good. There was zero part of me that wanted him to be good. I wanted him to fall on his neck like Andy Kaufman and get run out of there so that I could get back to enjoying my pro wrestling. And he's really good. He put in the work. Like the interviews behind the scenes are that he really applied himself and he worked incredibly hard at it. Or his brother, the boxing guy, I'm not saying he's a great boxer, but the guy was going to kill Mike Tyson. Like he clearly held back, like he's all right. He's not great. Now, a lot of people, I couldn't have, but a fair number of people probably could have really hurt Tyson too in this day and age. But what I'm saying is I think we don't see a lot of that. And I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because it doesn't affect me. I don't know. I just have to put it in a bucket and go, well, that's that. And right down the river, right out of my head. Right. I can't do it.
I think for me, I go, well, you don't know what those people who are seemingly successful and you don't know the resources, you don't know the grind that they put it in. But I do think that there is an impression that things came easy. And maybe that's not true.
Right.
But if there is an impression of like this kind of cool, like, I just kind of, I did this and then I did that. And then I have, a whole bunch of money and I'm super successful. I think that kind of impression is, I don't know, detrimental maybe to, because detrimental to like impressionable people.
Well, yes.
But you can't let that, looking outward is not going to change what you're doing in your own world,
It's not going to change.
Maybe.
And like I say, I've had to just get really, really good at really, it was in business where I just had to say, I'm not going to get distracted by the competition. I'm going to focus on what I'm doing and doing it the best. It doesn't mean totally ignoring them, but most of those people there's no bearing on my life or what I do. I'm interested in knowing what competition in the audience is doing, but I'd rather be inspired and figure out how to create a better industry that attracts more people when I consider what they're doing. So there is a point. Maybe that's a good show. Like where do we care and where do we focus our care on? But it's also a whole new day and age. And I think every generation goes, oh, these kids they're just wasting their time with this and that. And of course, social media and influencers are that new thing for us to this next generation. Yeah, Charlie could get his button gear a little bit. I think. I don't think he realizes the grind that it would take to be a social media influencer. He's going to end up in the guts of a car wash at 6:30 in the morning, trying to eke out a a charisma.
All right, let's not talk like that. This
Right.
is your grind. This is what you want to do. Just grind it out. That's fantastic. All right. So
what I'm gonna do, I don't have one. Dang it. Oh, it would have been really great. I have these it's really ridiculous. I have these literal money bags from the bank, and I dump my quarters and I walk in with a big pack of quarters into the bank. And I dump it into the coin machine, and it's like $72. I'm like, I'm rich, baby. I got money bags. So that's what I'm going to do this morning now.
How about, I mean, that reminds me of like bartending and going and just coming away with a whole stack of cash.
Oh, yeah.
And then just going and just like splurging at the late night place. And
with your $1 tips on your bar tips, right?
Yeah, and being with the people that you just worked a busy night with. Oh man, that's just so much fun. Anyway, I love this conversation. It was great. It's fantastic. And we'll continue. We'll try to continue this a little bit more. By the way, we're talking about football. There's a possibility that it's going to be Eagles Bills. And I don't know what this house is going to look like. I'm not sure what's going to happen.
What are you going to do, man?
I don't know, because Chelsea's a huge Bills fan. I'm a huge Eagles fan. This is the closest that we've ever gotten to a major game between the two.
What are the kids going to do? Somebody's heart's getting broken here.
I think they're Bills. They're Bills fans. I'm the stepdad, so the Eagles are their step team. So they got to go. I think the Bills are their biological team, so they're going to
be a lonely place for old Joe there, man. I like that lineup. I like the storyline. So, just really quick, you got the rookie that could go to the Super Bowl. Never happened.
Yeah.
Could happen. You got a guy chasing 3 in a row. Never happened. Could happen. You got the Bills, Josh Allen could never get over the hump, could never not turn it over. Now he's done it, got a chance to exercise the demons. The only team to beat the Chiefs this year. Can they do that again? And then you got your Eagles, the dysfunctional misfits that everybody says the coach can't do it. They hate each other. They don't know what's going on. Meanwhile, boom, they're running everybody over. And, oh, by the way, they were just there 2 years ago. Can they get it back?
Yeah. I think it's funny to think that people would be out of all 4 that people would be behind the Eagles because the other teams have much better stories. But you also have Saquon Barkley, who is one of the best ever. All-time blunder letting that guy out of the building for the Giants. How stupid, huh? What dum-dums, man. Like, leave it to the Giants to unify the Commanders, Eagles, and Cowboys fans, right? Goodness, man. Just to wrap it up, you got to avoid stupidity, So
how about this? I got a brilliant idea. Let's trade Saquon Barkley. That's going to make us better, guys. What do you think?
Or let's let him go see what else he can get out there
in our division
for his contract, and go find something, and immediately, he got it. So, but anyway, we'll continue our conversation next week. Thanks everybody for stopping by. This was it's always a great morning on Thursdays, and I always have a great day because of this. Thanks so much, everybody. Love it. Take it easy.
Happy Thursday. See you guys.